Last year, I went on a school service trip to India. We arrived in Delhi first and planned to stay in the city for a few days. It was midnight when we finally cleared customs after our 16-hour flight. Our group stepped out of the airport doors and into what looked like a thick fog. Visibility was extremely limited, maybe 100 yards. Our Indian guide explained to us that what we were experiencing was not fog, but smog, a consequence of one of India's growing pollution problems. We only stayed in the city for 3 days, but Delhi's 18.6 million people are plagued by the heavy smogs year-round. The air quality worsens in the winter months as more biomass, mainly cow dung, is burned to cook food, keep residents warm, and keep factories running. In November 2016, just 4 months before my trip, air pollution levels reached an all-time high at over 16 times what the Indian government deems safe for humans. In layman's terms, that's the equivalent of smoking 50 cigarettes a day. Schools were shut down for 3 days because of the heavy smogs, preventing 5 million children from attending classes. Delhi is considered the most polluted city in the world. A 2015 study by the Chittarajan National Cancer Institute found that 2.2 million of Delhi's school children have lung problems that will continue to affect them for their entire lives. Air pollution is the 5th leading cause of death in India, with 620,000 deaths in 2015. It is estimated that every minute, 2 people die from health issues resulting from air pollution. The heavy pollution partially stems from the exhaust of millions in cars and trucks that commute through and around Delhi each day, as well as the heavy smoke from cooking fires used by 2/3 of the population. Other pollution sources include the waste from factories, the smoke from biomass used to heat homes, and the dust from India's many dirt roads, and crop burning. Landfills around Delhi, which accumulate 8,000 tons of trash each day, release heavy toxins into the air when this trash is burned. The Indian government is attempting to curb some of these problems. Roads are sprayed with water to reduce the amount of dust being kicked up. Truck drivers are offered money as an incentive to choose routes away from the city, and parking fees and road taxes are being heavily increased. Dedicated activists are also working to design better cook stoves that will release less heavy smoke into the environment. However, these actions are so far having little effect on worsening air quality. While Delhi may have the worst air pollution, the rest of the Indian subcontinent is not exempt. As our group drove away from Delhi towards Jaipur and later on to Agra, we looked out across hazy farmlands, brick factories, and temples. It seemed like everything contributed to poor air quality. We arrived in Jaipur to take part in a Holi celebration in the city, where we played Holi, dancing and flinging colored powder at each other and the rest of the crowd. The Holi celebration is basically the original color run. It is known as the Festival of Colors and marks the beginning of springtime and the triumph of good over evil. The colored powder used in the celebration was made of natural ingredients in the past, but today its vivid colors are only manufactured. Many of these chemicals are toxic and do not break down over time. When the powder is flung in the air, the wind carries it to mix with dust and other pollutants already hanging above the city. We next visited the beautiful Taj Mahal in Agra, where scaffolding encircled one of the tomb's 4 tall minarets. We learned that the scaffolding was there as the final part of a huge undertaking to rid the Taj Mahal from the effects of air pollution. The fine particulates in air pollution had actually stained the beautiful marble brownish black. Walking up to the minarets, it was very easy to see the difference that cleaning had made. Under the one with scaffolding, the marble was still stained the dirty brown, but the freshly cleaned marble gleamed white in the sun. I love so many things about India: the people, history, food, culture, wildlife, but I left shocked by the level of air pollution I had experienced. Having been born and raised on the Big Island, I have had relatively little exposure to that level of human-made pollution. The fog in Kona can get bad, and there are days when you can't see Mauna Loa and Hualalai because of the haze, but I have never seen pollution as it is in India, with just miles and miles of thick, heavy smog. To put it into context using the Air Quality Index, or AQI, Kona on a bad fog day is generally in the yellow to orange area, while India in November before my trip was off the scale with an AQI of 1,031. While we were on our trip, it was still a lot higher than Kona, in the red zone. Traveling to India has made me more aware of the urban world around me and the effects that we humans are having on our environment. But I'm also encouraged because there are so many people fighting to reduce global pollution and solve problems for clean air. So I urge you to, after seeing these slides and hearing me speak, to be more conscious of your environmental footprint and be aware of the choices that you make. As the saying goes, if we all do a little, we will all do a lot. Thank you.